Ubisoft is releasing Assassin's Creed Unity. And in the game, you can go online with 4 other characters, or 4 people, and you can play. And it's all male. And it created a bit of a furor, and you'll notice something about me. I oftentimes take issue to wording. And
versus the message, the actual word.
Well, I have issues with this all the way through, but wording is going to piss me off almost more than anything. And it was that basically people are like, well, why can't we create female avatars for our online...
For the multiplayer.
For the multiplayer. And their response was, well, we had decided that we might do it early on, but we skipped it because we didn't have the time. And that's a slap to the face, I think, of a lot of female gamers who would like to play as a female character. People have, especially because my issues with it are so many-fold, and it's not even all just a female thing. So they're like, well, no, you're all gonna play as Arno, okay? Well, that's kind of lazy, but we're gonna let you have customizable costumes. So you're all playing as carbon copies of the same guy.
Okay.
Of the other.
So you can only play as. So is that more of an attack on their creativity then?
Well,
more than anything else?
It's an attack on both, is what I think it is. I think it's a lack of creativity, but like I said, the way they worded it, the way they said, well, we were going to, but that would have been too much time, comes across as very insulting. And, you know, the thing is whenever something like this happens, you know, the excuse is always time crunch, no time to do this, blah, 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 whine. And someone else, many people in other parts of the industry will come and be like, no, that's a lie. Really, it wouldn't take you that long to do this.
So, but they could have said it for anything else, though. I mean, the fact that it was against, you know, obviously not having a female, that's where people are glomming onto. Versus, what if it was, you know, obviously, what is it? They put out, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation a couple years back, right?
Yeah.
Which had a female main character.
Yes, it did.
What if they announced that we didn't have time to create a male character for the multiplayer? Do you think that the backlash would have been the same?
Yeah, I think that probably would have been. I think it would have been looked at more as lazy than anything, but I think you would have seen backlash. The difference is it didn't have online multiplayer, so it's a moot issue. At least I don't think it had online. I'm perfectly okay with if this game calls for a male lead, or if this game calls for a female lead. You do not have to put in an option for a male character or a female character.
Sure, because it's a narrative. You decide the narrative.
Right,
yeah.
You decide a narrative. But if it's for playing online and it's called Other Selves, I mean, what is another self? Another self can be anyone. I mean, that's where you should be able to create whatever you want. So, yes, and this was what I was grappling with earlier today when I'm trying to figure out how to word my disappointment with Ubisoft. I think it's different. It's disappointing from the level that they decided it just wasn't worth their time to give you the female option, but it was also disappointing because you're not doing a very good job of selling your game. You not only sound like the women weren't worth your time, but you just sound uncreative.
Well, but it isn't. Okay, I'm playing devil's advocate here. You just said that you're looking at it as Ubisoft saying the female gamers aren't worth their time. Isn't that you placing your expectations on them versus what they're actually coming out with, though? You said, like, for example, they should have the female option. That's, again, your expectation of what this company should be putting out when it's their product. It's for them to decide what they want to put out, and it's your decision whether or not you want to purchase it.
That's fair enough, but at the very least, don't say that you were going to, and then not.
You're saying that's almost worse. You're saying
I just feel like on anything with an online component these days where you're creating an avatar, having a female option, having an option other than... I'm gonna get flayed alive for this one too. God, people love to eat me up for my viewpoints. When it's an online game, it's all about customizability, and when customizability enters the fray, I believe that gender is expected.
Okay, that's a more reasonable argument. I think
that is my basic stance. It has nothing to do with the single player. It has nothing to do with the story. But when you're talking about online with customizability, you get gender choices, you get race choices, you get all these choices that let you play as the person.
So then someone made a decision at Ubisoft. Obviously, they can come out with DLC. They could add it back in if they want to. Maybe they still will. There's online petitions for it. I'm not sure how much that's going to do, but maybe if they find a skin of someone else in the game, maybe it was a female character, they can sort of just add the animations
well,
to it.
that was my thinking, and that's why I think some of the people were coming out and being like, that doesn't hold water, because there's females in the game.
Yeah, but they have to add all the animations for the female. I don't know enough about programming to know if it's simply
neither do I
pasting it in.
Neither do I.
Do you paste the female texture on the male and all the swinging and jumping? Is that the same? I have no idea.
No, but like other people said, it shouldn't take that long. And basically, you should probably be able to pull... And now I feel like I am talking about... Whatever. You should be able to look back at your history of games and find those animations. I mean, you have this stuff laying around. It's not like Ubisoft is without assets to create characters.
How I'm trying to see where Ubisoft mindset may be. How many people play that multiplayer? Like, is that a huge part of the experience, really?
I don't know. I mean, I've never been into the Assassin's Creed series. I've heard that the games are... The multiplayer is good, but I don't know if it's a huge thing. But they really... I mean, it's in the name. Unity seems to be the... I mean, Unity Online does seem to be the big focus here. Now, I'll even admit that maybe storyline-wise, they are going to find some stupid way to say, well, nope, we couldn't do it, you know... But I just feel like, like I said, I just feel like in any sort of game where you're banding together with people making online avatars, race, gender should always be a possibility.
Well, the fact that you told me that even the other characters are exactly the same, that just tells me they're lazy. They're just being lazy.
Well, yeah, I think it's
lazy. It's not sexism. They're being lazy.
It's right. No, and that's why, like I said, I was trying to figure out how to word it. I think it's laziness first. It comes across as sexist with how they worded it.
Just how they worded it?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I don't have a dog in this race. I mean, you want to be inclusive in terms of multiplayer. I mean, going back to Unreal Tournament, back in Unreal Tournament 99, you can be a female character. You know, in that you can be a male character.
And that's what I mean. Else. It's just, I think it's come to be expected.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But I think they'll just add it back in. I think we're at a weird point now with games, where it was also because of social media too. This is another point that we can bring up or not go into this at all, is that we have a lot of people that now they get a cause online and they go full force at it, and this is one that probably I think caught Ubisoft off guard because of that. Where they're like, wow, this is like, they're like probably like, whoa, wait a minute, what did we do? Yeah. You know, like we just put out a game with a female main character, and now we're being accused of being sexist. It's just I'm trying to look at it from their side, and they're not dumb enough to put out a game. I don't think that would be intentionally trying to hurt all these people. You know, I think they're just trying to... They made a decision and maybe it was just short-sighted and like, okay, we're stuck with our decision now.
I don't think it's so much that they're trying to... they were intentionally, trying to hurt someone. It's... To me, it comes across as naivety. I mean, like I said, not only is this sort of thing generally expected, but we are... I mean, we're currently in the middle of we're at a point in video games where... the ratio of male to female players and sexism and having equal representation, I mean, is that ahead, so well, I mean, when you're if when you're making the game and it comes time down to the customizable options, it just seems silly. Like, given the current climate, not everyone at Ubisoft is not paying attention to these things online.
Okay. That's fair. But I also want to make the distinction, and I hope people don't call me sexist for saying this. It's not sexist to not include that. It's just, I think it's more naivety than anything else. It would be sexist if the only female character in the game was wearing a string bikini. Then that would be sexist. No, they just failed to include something they probably should have.
Yes.
So I guarantee you, if there's DLC, they'll come out with it. Maybe they're too far in development now to really, I don't know, put it back in. I have no idea. It's like I said, if they did this back in the 90s with games, by now, yeah. If people were expecting it, they should put it in. They should.